I found a more comfortable position to sit in. Or at least so I can watch it. And I figure if I'm going to be on the game and casually watch it, might as well go on stream. What's this? So, I'm just watching some shit about evolution. I'm playing 2K. I expect people to come here to chill, you know. I'll play some music for y'all. You know, and it's kind of what I expect, you know. We're just here to I'm not necessarily, you know, no hyper super energetic. I mean, I am, but you know, like we ain't gonna see no crazy shit yet. You know, so we just gonna hang out, chill. You know, hopefully you watch while I play the game. Maybe while I play the game, maybe hopefully you do homework or working on some shit. I don't know. And just chill watching. We just hang out for a little bit.
Little separation here, gaining some confidence.
Yeah, they've...
Simple questions such as, do you have a high school diploma?
6 months after the events of Underworld Evolution is when Underworld Awakening takes place. Humanity has become aware of vampires and life. This is called the Purge. Escape has become our only chance of survival. Therefore, Michael and I are leaving tonight. Unfortunately, Celine and Michael are captured before they can escape the city on a boat. Michael is shot and falls into the water, and Celine jumps in after him, but they are hit by a grenade, knocking them unconscious. Celine awakens 12 years later in cryogenic suspension. Celine breaks out of the facility and finds out they are being experimented on by a company called StANSWRLD.
Locked in during this stretch. If they keep it up, their lead will only continue to grow.
And the Clippers decide to take their first time out here.
But it turns out this connected to her daughter. She must have become pregnant before being captured by StANSWRLD, but wasn't aware.
Nicholas Batum, he's checked in for Los Angeles. And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first. Zubac's the best to George. Jackson dishes to George.
Turns out that antigen is secretly run by
Pocket 6 to the inside. Here's Zubac. That one's off, still out of sync.
So her blood has special properties. The Lycans discover her blood.
Philadelphia leading by 7. A 3 from Leonard, another 3 for Philadelphia.
Their play on both ends has been superb. We'll see if they can maintain the momentum.
They came out and bum rushed them. Huge difference in activity level from both teams tonight.
Now here's Jackson. Zubac kicks to Jackson. Trying to get open is Adebayo. And the Clippers miss again. Outside Durant. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Here's Leonard. It's holding.
And it turns out that it was mostly vampires being killed during these purges, and it was actually giving the Lycans time to strengthen their numbers. Celine attacks the antigen building when Dr. Lane is about to harvest Eve of all her genetic material and kill her. This forces the doctor to try and move Eve out of the building, but is stopped in the parking garage. Eve fights Jacob Lane, and Celine fights Jacob's son, Quint, also referred to as the Uber Lycan. He has injected himself with the serum created from Eve's blood many times, which has made him into a hulking beast, and because of this, his transformations look painful. Eve defeats Dr. Lane by ripping his throat out, and Celine defeats Quint by forcing him to change into human form and then putting a silver nitrate grenade into his stomach. The original blast from the grenade seems to have little effect on him, but once all the silver enters his blood, it causes him to swell up and explode like an allergic reaction, showing that his immunity to silver was only partial, not truly immune like a hybrid. After Jacob and Quint are defeated, Eve has a vision of her father, Michael, and he's on the roof. They race up there to try and get him, but it's too late. He's gone. In the next movie, Blood Wars, Selene finds out that Michael was taken by Marius, the leader of a Lycan pack. I guess all Lycans by now have heard the rumors of hybrid blood and its benefits, so they came for him. Marius actually drains Michael of all his blood, killing him. Then Marius consumes the blood when he needs it and allows him to turn into a huge Lycan with a special human-like head. He's not as big as Quintling, though. This is because Quint was taking a special serum developed from Eve's blood that was essentially pure Corvinus strength. But Marius is drinking Michael's unrefined blood, which results in an unstable transformation, possibly because of the vampire DNA in Michael's blood, because he was a hybrid. Kind of a shame that Michael gets a bit of an unceremonious death off-screen. I have to say, I hate the idea that Michael was so weak that he couldn't fight off Marius, especially after the last two movies have stated how strong he is. Even if he was just in cryosleep, after Selene broke out, she was able to fight off like 20 people, including Lycans. Michael got impaled, died, came back to life, and defeated the original werewolf, William, but couldn't defend himself when Marius hadn't even drank any of his blood yet, so he wasn't more powerful yet like we see him later. If they had to kill off Michael, I just wish they would have had him go out like a hero or fighting taking on a bunch of Lycans or something. I feel like we never got to see him at his full power.
By Zubats.
You can't look at the result of that shot. They'll take that whenever they get it.
Yeah, it's a great look for him. One they'll try and manufacture again. Those are the shots you want him to take.
And George kicks.
He thinks that Eve's blood will be the key to making his transformation permanent. Also, before the events of Blood Wars, Eve and Selene had some kind of argument over her safety. Eve ends up running away from
to Jackson. No good there. And Philadelphia the other way now. KD finds Leonard. Adebayo against Zubats. A three from Leonard. Philadelphia with a new shot clock. Three-pointer. That one falls coming off Adebayo's feet. Leonard's got 18 points in the game.
Displaying intensity right off the opening tip, especially on the offensive end.
They came out swinging, really setting the tone on offense, and the opposition has not been able to respond.
Catching up on the changes for Los Angeles. Rounds checked in for Zubats. Amir Coffey comes in for George. And it's Powell in for Terrence Mann. Now here's Jackson. He's been quiet so far. Still no points in the game. To end the run, it's Adebayo with the rebound. Adebayo's got his fifth rebound in this one. A three from Leonard. They get it again. Lets it go with the three. Drains it from beyond the arc. Leonard's got 21 in the game.
Yeah, they built up this lead 3 points at a time.
We'll see if they can keep this pace. Not sure they can win it by remote.
It's good! He did it!
One eye on the rim, one eye on the clock. Nice job.
He didn't even look worried about the time on the clock. Nice way to end the quarter.
And an overpowering first quarter effort. Already a double-digit advantage. Philadelphia ahead.
Thomas died in order
And so far through one quarter, it's been a lopsided game. We'll see if that changes here in the second. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring breakdown for Philadelphia. Los Angeles trails by 14. Now the Clippers trading last season for Norman Powell. And as they say, Greg, the rich get richer.
Yeah.
attacked by Marius and his Lycans. Marius succeeds in defeating Selene and has his vampire sidekick feed from Selene to get her blood memories and find Eve. But that's when they discover that not even Selene knows where Eve is, and their search might be hopeless. Selene, being gravely injured, slips herself under the ice to be safe, or maybe to slow her death in the cold water. After Selene's body is retrieved from the lake, Leonard performs the special ritual.
An excellent two-way player. Their wing depth becoming the envy of the league, and he's just coming into his prime, so he fits the timeline of their start.
So on the floor for Philadelphia, you've got Wall. Kawhi Leonard is out there at Durant. Then there's Jalen Green. And it's Adebayo in at the pivot spot.
I wonder if it's possible for a Lycan to undergo a similar process and also gain new abilities.
Manning the middle.
Marius is the best attacking defense coverage.
Powell in the high post. Leonard's there. Brown sets a screen for Jackson. And the shot is good.
And textbook use of the pick and roll by Jackson, disrupting the defense and getting himself a look.
Leonard and Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
And that's the kind of lead pass we've come to expect from him.
We play just over a minute of basketball here in the second quarter. Brown trying to free himself up. The shot by Powell, no good. And KD's got the ball here for Philadelphia. At one point, they led by 16.
What strength from Leonard there, not allowing the defense to get the best of it.
Los Angeles trails by 14. Jackson passes to Brown. Just about a minute and a half has gone by here in the second. From deep. Adebayo down low. He's covered by Brown. And
for advanced speed to go around behind him and rips out his spine. David appears with the severed head of his and tells the Lycans to leave without a fight. Turns out David was actually the secret son of the vampire elder Amelia, which makes him an automatic heir to be an elder. Lena from the Nordic Coven is made an elder. And lastly, Selene is forgiven by the council and named an elder as well. From an outcast to one of the 3 chosen elders. From hunted to the highest honor a vampire could receive. An elder is equivalent to a king or...
There's the whistle. 3-second violation. Los Angeles calls timeout. And last season, Bam Adebayo said it was disrespectful that he wasn't named a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. What do you think?
Well, Kevin, no arguing here. He's definitely an elite defender. Second team all defense, 3 years running. Great toughness and versatility.
That's my video on the timeline of Selene. I didn't go over every little detail of the movies. I tried to stick to Selene's story because sometimes individual stories get looked over with so many.
I'm really into supernatural shit like vampires, werewolves, and shit. So anybody's depiction of them, I love to listen to. I've seen most, if not all. I can't say all, but I love supernatural shit.
And Los Angeles with some changes.
About vampires, werewolves, and other supernatural creatures. This has to be one of the most requested shows I've had on the channel.
Ivica Zubac has checked in for Brown. Man subbed in for Norman Powell.
I will also briefly cover the other supernatural.
Here's Jackson.
Because it will tie in with
Los
the
Angeles with another
and
miss. Philadelphia leading by 14.
But I do always try to keep them to a minimum.
And here's Leonard from 3. It's held in by Zubac.
2008 and ran for 5 seasons, ending in 2013.
Jackson against
The show
Wall.
follows the lives of 3 roommates, a vampire, a werewolf,
Fires
and
the
a ghost.
3.
The vampire named Mitchell,
Jackson misses.
played by actor
Yeah,
Jason
that's a
Turner.
shame,
The
because I'm not
werewolf
sure the
George,
defense
played
will
by
let him get a
Russell
shot
Colby,
that
and the ghost
good
Andy,
again
played
very
by
soon.
Lenora Criswell. It's worth noting that
Here's
the
Leonard,
success of the UK version
and he's
of
fouled
Being
pretty
Human
hard on
led to
that.
the creation of an American adaptation, which ran for 4 seasons from 2011 to 2014. So the 2 shows were actually running at the same time for a while. But for many, the original British version will always hold a special place in their
Shot,
hearts.
but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line.
Hard to guard without fouling. Leonard is an expert at forcing the issue and getting the ball.
Jaron Jackson, he's checked in for Philadelphia. A different look for the Clippers. Robert Covington's checked in for Morris. And it's Paul George in for Kawhi
They have
Leonard.
to make dangerous trips down into the cities for supplies. It has a lot of great action, and I'm currently listening to the audiobook version, and it has some really tense moments. If you're interested in the Vampire World series, you can get all 6 books on Audible and Amazon/Kindle. They're also part of Audible Premium and Kindle Unlimited, so if you have those services, then you can get the first Vampire World series for sponsoring the video. Today's sponsor. Slow. It's worth noting that the success of the UK version of Being Human led to the creation of an American adaptation, which ran for 4 seasons from 2011 to 2014. So the 2 shows were actually running at the same time for a while. But for many, the original British version will always hold a special place in their hearts. Before I get into the supernaturals from Being Human, I want to tell you guys about the Vampire World book series. for a while. But for many, the original version will always hold a special place in their hearts. Before I get into the supernaturals from being human, I want to tell you guys World Series for sponsoring the video. I want to start by explaining werewolves and ghosts, because like I said, they have some tie-ins with vampires, and it will save some explaining later. First, the lichens. Werewolves stem from a curse created by the devil. The werewolves and being human have a horrific transformation, with George letting out horrible screams as all of his bones break and then re-heal. The actual transformations of the werewolves and the practical effects they used looked really good. It's probably one of the best TV show werewolf transformations I've ever seen. One werewolf says that every transformation, the skin mends tougher and the bones heal stronger. Werewolves have some impressive abilities, including enhanced physical strength, speed, and agility while transformed. They are able to tear apart some of the strongest vampires. Werewolves also have heightened senses and can track a scent like a bloodhound. They even have these heightened senses in human form, and they become more acute close to the full moon. Werewolves seem to be especially loyal toward their friends and family. George was extremely protective of his friends, and particularly his vampire roommate Mitchell. On the downside, George's werewolf nature also comes with some weaknesses. He struggles with the loss of control during the full moon, and his primal instincts can lead him to make dangerous and destructive choices. Once they turn, they're almost completely uncontrollable. But lycans with sufficient willpower have been seen resisting killing people that they know. It's revealed that George was turned into a werewolf when he was scratched by another werewolf during a night out. He was only scratched, not bitten, and the next full moon he turned for the first time. Most werewolves are turned by being scratched by a transforming or fully transformed werewolf. George once scratched someone while halfway through his transformation, but still managed to infect him. Although they're usually infected by a scratch, a bite would probably work as well, just much less likely for the victim to survive. They also do have slightly improved healing while in human form, as Nina was able to quickly recover from a pretty bad stab wound, and George remarks that it's one of the good things about being a werewolf. Werewolves and being human cannot transform unless it's a full moon, but there is one exception. Well, kinda. When a werewolf was trapped, he was able to look at a picture of a full moon and trick his body into a half transformation. This increased his physical strength, allowing him to kill multiple vampires with ease. The downside to this was the transformation usually causes temporary organ failure. The fully turned werewolf can heal from that no problem. But since he couldn't complete the transformation due to tricking his body, he died from the organ failure. So werewolves can do a half transformation, but it basically means they're gonna die. As for weaknesses, they can't cross running water while transformed, but they're not shown being weak to silver or anything else. Like I said, their healing factor is amazing, but they can be killed if they are damaged sufficiently. Vampires and werewolves have had a long and negative relationship due to how vampires have treated werewolves over the years, usually talking down on them, calling them dogs, and even making them fight in cages for entertainment. I will talk a little more about the relationship between vampires and werewolves a little later. Now for the ghosts. They are souls of humans who have unfinished business. Werewolves have also been seen becoming ghosts.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on John Wall. That is his first foul of the game.
First two. Once there, they will be assessed and then sent somewhere else. If for some reason a ghost refuses to move on...
And here in the second quarter of action with a hair under 2.5 minutes played so far. Pass to Jackson. Back to Covington. George with no one around. Los Angeles with another miss. Philadelphia leading by 16. Here's Leonard driving inside. Lays it up and banks it in. Leonard's got 8 here in the quarter.
And the fact that Leonard can pour in like tonight, in addition to his defense, is really why he's one of the best two-way players we've ever seen.
Here's Jackson. Oh, with a block. Leonard looking around. Three-point play chance as he'll head to the line.
Talk about someone who knows all the angles. Kawhi on the interior.
Philadelphia shooting their third free throw shot of the game. A free throw good from Kawhi Leonard. Los Angeles trails by 21. Jackson passes to George. And there's the foul. It's on Jalen Green. That is his first foul of the game. And the Clippers making a change here. Kennard's checked in.
Other supernaturals such as vampires, werewolves, and I guess other demons are also capable of seeing ghosts. There's also some
George finds Covington. Back to George.
aside from ghosts, werewolves, and vampires, there's also demons like the sun.
4 on the clock. Outside Covington. Here's Zubats. And the rejection by Jackson. The feed to Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
Offensively, defensively, they are in total control.
And guys, to go on a big run, get some breathing space, it has to be a great play on each end.
Jackson kicks to Covington. Kennard, the pass to
I'm
Jackson.
so confused.
I'm going to start with their origin. The vampire race started in approximately 1,000.
And we got to take a second look to admire that outstanding block.
And big defensive plays like that will help them stay in control of this one.
The Clippers shooting their first free throws of the game.
Another vampire even regarded as one of the earliest vampires.
And that one falls for Jackson.
And Jackson certainly doesn't lack confidence. A speedy guard who can fill it up in no time.
Nicholas Batum, he's checked in for Los Angeles. Amir Coffey comes in for George. To the paint, Batum with the steal. Durant against Jackson. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. That's on Jaren Jackson.
And how about the confidence right now from Jackson? Not bashful at attacking and drawing attention from there.
Brown is checked in for Zubats. 50 seconds left to play here in the half. Left side, Leonard. And he finishes nicely on the way. Leonard's got 36.
Talk about execution on the offensive end. They're leaving nothing on the table right now.
It's caused them to pull away a bit. Let's see if they can keep the train on the tracks.
The leaders of all vampires are called the Holy Ones. They were able to easily cover up any killings in the city done by vampires, as the guy who worked in the morgue would rule that they died of an accident or
Guard against Green.
It's implied that vampires have infiltrated organizations.
Now, here's Kennard. Defense is right there, and there it is for him.
Showing the quickness right there. Just tough to keep up with it.
Leonard, that's for 2. Rebound by the Clippers.
How does someone become a vampire and be human? Well, we never
Here's Coffey. He's gotten some minutes, but nothing on the board yet. No good from outside. He got it up. No good that time. So as we conclude the first half, so far fairly one-sided. Philadelphia ahead as they wrap up the second quarter on a 15-6 run. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
The men with sticks and rope. Yeah, the demons that protect purgatory dressed in Victorian surgical gear. This is often very frightening and traumatizing for newly turned vampires. Eventually, they will wake up, and it's common for someone who is just turned to feel sick and disoriented for a short time while they adjust to their body's drop in blood pressure, heart rate decreasing, and the new craving for blood. Vampires seem to crave blood almost immediately.
Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. Kawhi Leonard really has his fingerprints all over this one.
Man, how about the amount he's contributing in the scoring column? Through 2 quarters, he has been terrific.
He always wants to be a go-to guy for them. I'm sure he'll be calling for the ball even more in this half.
Okay, time now for an injury report. Now let's check in with DA to see how Bam Adebayo is doing. David.
Hi, guys. The head athletic trainer for Philadelphia let
Vampires steal blood bags.
me know the status. At this point, he's saying that it looks like a grade 1 sprained ankle.
All right, David, thank you. Hopefully everything works out for him. So with Leonard on the bench, here's who Tyronn Lue's going with. Post tandem form, Morris and Zubats. And there's Jackson, then it's Paul George, and it's Man in at the shooting guard.
However, vampires in this series
And
don't
there's
actually
Paul
use
George
blood.
on the assist by Jackson. George has got the first points at the third quarter up on the board for the Clippers.
57 years without drinking, but not one single known
George
vampire
against
has
Leonard.
ever been able to abstain from blood.
Floats one,
Something always
and no
holds
good
them
that
back.
time.
So if they don't need blood to live, why
And so it's Jackson who brings it up for Los Angeles.
like a drug addiction?
They haven't
Almost
given
like
up
it's
any
part of their
points here in the
nature.
second
When
half.
regularly consuming human blood, vampires will
And
act
George kicks to
differently,
Jackson.
more aggressive and impulsive.
Zubats with the screen for Jackson. That three off the mark.
This is the definition of forcing it. He's trying to get himself going, but taking tough shots just won't do it.
Count it.
Getting a step on the defense there. Once Leonard has this, you know he's going to capitalize.
When they're in the altered mind state, when on a blood
Guys are
diet,
looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively, for sure.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
Damage and heal quicker. So basically, for a vampire to see true benefits, they should be consuming blood. When they're in the altered mind state, when on a blood diet, vampires can kill without having it affect their conscience. They even get a rush and enjoyment from killing. They will also not feel most emotions like guilt, loneliness, or sadness. If they stop drinking the blood, though, all those feelings of guilt will come rushing back.
Roger Covington's checked in for the Clippers. Leonard comes in for George.
It's often overwhelming to vampires, and that's why they continue to drink rather than go clean. The craving makes them drink, and the guilt makes them continue. If a vampire does try to go clean, they can experience what is
Here's
basically
Mann.
withdrawal.
Still
They will
looking
have
for his first bucket in this one. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on John Wall. And that'll be his third foul so far.
If they stay on blood for long enough, all these side effects will go away, and they will have much greater control over themselves. Vampires who are drinking blood also seem to be more hostile toward werewolves. The character Mitchell is very loving toward his friend George, but when he's drinking blood, he's rude and distant with him. At times, Mitchell snaps like he has multiple personality disorder and tells George to run and get somewhere safe before going back to his more
2 minutes
evil
gone in
self.
this third quarter
Another
now.
older vampire was also shown being quite friendly to werewolves, but after drinking blood...
Leonard against Leonard. That one good for two.
And we've seen Leonard's ball handling improve over the years, especially in the pick and rolls where he has grown to be very effective.
That was a second look at our Mobile One Drive. Amazing control on display.
And I just love his
vampires, and when they smell a human person, saying things like, "Your friend is gone." It's almost as if vampires' dislike of werewolves is ingrained in their curse. There's something called the taint. This is the sweetest blood. It's highly addictive to vampires, and when they smell a human with this blood, all they can think about is feeding, and they become uncontrollable. Humans only have the taint when they have been bitten by a rare spider that causes blood poisoning. look identical to humans most of the time. When they feed or become enraged, their eyes will turn black and their fangs will come out. They also make a sort of hissing noise when they're angry. When a vampire is turned, they remain that age and physical condition forever. It is implied that once vampires reach 1,000 years or older, their bodies start to decay from the inside out. The oldest vampire known in the series is Mr. Snow. He is 3,000 years old. He looks much more pale than the other vampires, and he also has black veins. His teeth and nails also seem to be dying as they have a blackish color. Another 1,000-year-old vampire also displayed extremely pale skin with some black veins on his face. I wonder if these vampires can truly live forever or if their bodies would eventually rot. Vampires cannot be captured by photograph, video, or a mirror. They can still be seen in semi-reflective surfaces though. A vampire explains the reason they have no reflection. He says it's because the devil takes their reflection to remind them that their soul belongs to him. Vampires jokingly call their lack of reflection Old Nick's wink, because Old Nick is another name for the devil. One of the vampire's most important rules is do not get caught by the police, because when they try to take a mugshot, well, there won't be one. That's why their #1 priority are covering up all the murders and having the police in their pocket. They don't necessarily care what every vampire is doing.
He's showing their team might be down, but a drive like that could spark them.
It's stolen by Green. And now here's Durant, the fast break opportunity. Here's Leonard, banked in off the glass.
1 beat per minute, but they are still biologically dead, or undead. A vampire was able to speed up his heart rate to fool a medical machine that he was hooked up to, so older vampires can probably learn to control their heart rate. Vampires are also cold to the touch. When George killed a vampire, he remarked that his blood was cold. Since
Leonard's got 40 points.
And with the lead, I like the strategy here. Continue to get the ball to guys who can do something with it.
This is when good players really get after it. He can sense that they're reeling, and he's going to put his foot on the
When a
pedal.
vampire entered one of these doors, he was transported to his own purgatory. He was eventually
2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul.
A superstar who really kind of keeps to himself. Leonard truly leads by example, and it's produced titles.
This is his 3rd trip to the free throw line in the game. And that one
Boss.
misses. Norman Powell's checked in for Los Angeles.
Apparently they do still pass on though after dying, but not in the same way that others do, since they have already died. When a vampire does eventually...
Good on the 2nd free throw. Los Angeles trails by 20.
So today I'm bringing you this video talking about the different races in the Underworld series. The different races in the Underworld series include Lycan, Hybrid, Vampire, Werewolf, Immortal, and Human. And we're going to start off with the vampires. The vampires are a subspecies of immortal. They are living creatures infected with a virus
Outside Leonard.
immortality, superhuman physical abilities, enhanced resilience.
Outside for Jackson.
They have a severe weakness to ultraviolet rays.
And the Clippers miss
They rely on
again.
a regular
He is
consumption of blood.
single-handedly dropping the temperature in here with that cold streak.
Yeah, right now, he's just in his own head. Not much you can do to try and push through it.
Kept alive.
Vampires seen in other series that can compare to everyone else. The vampires in the Underworld series are biological, immortal beings, so they have no supernatural abilities, unlike vampires seen in other series that can do things like turn into bats or have some magical abilities. Vampires usually feed on people, but they have been known to feed on animals as well if they need to. Vampires seemingly don't die out from starvation, and instead they continuously grow weaker to the point where they become dried
Feeds
out.
to Leonard.
Similar to Lycans, vampires are capable of transforming.
Shoots
their
over
physical
Leonard.
appearance as magic.
Doesn't.
However, their transformation is narrowed down to just their eyes and teeth for the most part. In rare cases, vampires are able to sexually reproduce with other vampires, creating a pure-born vampire who inherits the sum of both their parents' strain, presumably making them more pure and respected by the other species. Vampires are also known to be able to reproduce with Lycans, given that Sonya became pregnant by Lucian, and in the movie parents' strain, presumably making them more pure and respected by the other species. Vampires are also known to be able to reproduce with Lycans, given that Sonya became pregnant by Lucian, and in the
Get a
movie
good drop for
Underworld
him.
Awakening,
So Los Angeles will take it the other way.
also bring with hybrids, as Selene gives birth to her daughter Eve, whose father is a hybrid. It is at this point unknown if vampires can reproduce in humans, although it is likely possible. Vampire virus causes biological changes to the host that allows them heightened senses.
Here, we're just over 3.5 minutes into it.
Certain vampires also display a
Feet
special
away,
ability to
and they pick up 2.
Some vampires have been known to gain what's called enhanced speed. When the vampire undergoes the Nordic Coven's sacred ritual, their speed, strength, and endurance is enhanced, as well as gaining some unusual abilities like reading another person's soul.
Leonard's got 6.
And part of what makes Kawhi such a great player is that jump shot. You can't just worry about him attacking the basket.
Durant, he gets it in there. And Philadelphia.
How the vampires in the Nordic Coven discovered this ritual is also a mystery. Despite their immortality and regenerative abilities, vampires can die and suffer permanent damage from severe physical trauma, such as things like decapitation, mutilation, amputation, and very severe blood loss. They are allergic to the ultraviolet radiation inherent in natural sunlight. Not much is known about how these changes happen or what contain memories through blood ingestion. Some vampires have been known to gain
big miscommunication on defense. He recognizes it and quickly takes advantage.
Yeah, they're going to do a much better job of putting a little bit of pressure on him on his way to the hoop.
There's the pass to Powell. And it's off from 3-point range. Philadelphia leading by 20. Here's Leonard. That's good, and a nice assist from Durant.
How the vampires in the Nordic Coven discovered this ritual is also a mystery. Despite their immortality and regenerative abilities, vampires can die and suffer permanent damage from severe physical trauma, such as things like decapitation, mutilation, amputation, and very severe blood loss. They are allergic to the ultraviolet radiation.
Leonard's got 43 points.
He just makes it look so easy on offense. Like, who takes pleasure in torturing defenses? He does.
Covington, a screen on Leonard. Takes a 3. And it's Leonard missing. 4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Shoots over Covington. And again, it's Philadelphia.
And part of what makes Kawhi such a...
It is also revealed in Underworld Blood Wars that Nightshade is highly poisonous to vampires. If a weaker vampire
great player is that jump shot. You can't just worry about him attacking the basket.
Corvinus strain enhanced vampires are shown to suffer crippling pain and temporary paralysis from the Nightshade, but not die. Only a small percentage of the human population can actually be turned into vampires, as most humans die.
Leonard with the ball. He has 6.
Within an hour of being bitten. Generation-wise, the further one is from Marcus, the first vampire, the weaker the vampire becomes. The same can apply to Celine, as her status is
Zubac's a screen on Durant. Kawhi Leonard has been on display for Philadelphia. This has been a remarkable game for him offensively. Anytime you get over the 40-point mark, it's been a special, special day. Back right after this.
Marcus Corvinus is one of the 3 sons of Helena and Alexander Corvinus.
And now we have a moment to reveal our State Farm assist of the game.
And he sliced the D wide open with his feet. They had no chance to prevent that basket.
That's an unguardable pass, flat out. Give him credit.
And Alexander Corvinus. He, along with his twin brother William, inherited the same virus which had previously transformed their father into the first true immortal. While William was bitten by a rabid wolf, which resulted in him becoming the first werewolf, Marcus was bitten by a bat, which transformed him into the first vampire. These transformations were possibly due to their genetics being unstable due to their father's virus. At the end of Underworld, Marcus is awakened by the blood of a lichen, causing him to transform into a vampire-lichen hybrid. Through the blood memories, Marcus then learns of Craven's treachery, and he embarks on the killing spree, intent on finding and freeing his brother. During the flashback sequence, Marcus is shown to be a powerful vampire, but displays no superhuman abilities different from those of Victor or Amelia. Regardless, as the second-generation immortal son of Alexander Corvinus and the first-generation vampire, Marcus was likely the strongest vampire in physical aspects, with the exception of Celine, David, and Lena, due to them being infected with Alexander's purest strain. Start your new adventure in Hogwarts. What's your ability or that's one of the best horror movie endings ever?
possessing that type of vision.
And there have been two very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. So on the floor for Philadelphia, Durant is out there with Kawhi Leonard. And it's Green. And it's Jaren Jackson. And it's Wall in at the point.
He's just stretching him out. The defense has got to do a better job of staying attached to him.
And the lack of defensive pressure on shots like that is a big reason they're down by double digits.
Jackson with it. Guarded now by Jackson. Shot clock at 5. From deep, George drills it from outside.
Dang.
And boy, he's got terrific feel on that jump shot. That's how George knocks down those catch-and-shoot jumpers in the blink of an eye.
Over in the corner, Green. Trying to answer.
See y'all later, Stream.